Pokemon Sleep has made it to its second anniversary, and with it comes the release of the Hoenn starters, but also to our surprise Plusle and Minun all at the same time. 5 new species released together. In today's video, we're going to cover the event information, the event bonuses, 2 new features that are coming, well, as much as we know of them anyway. We're going to look at some of the bundle values and also which areas to go to for your 2 weeks of this event. Welcome back to another Pokemon Sleep video. It's Bro Vinny here. I'm just going to dive right into it, beginning on the 14th of July, which is week 1 of the second anniversary event. We are guaranteed 1 hungry Pokemon for every day. So this is a good time to use your biscuits. All Pokemon will trigger their main skill 1.5 times more, which means relatively speaking, skill specialists will get a bigger boost during week 1 of this event. That means you'll be spending less time healing and more time farming. But also a good time to bring out your Tasty Chance S or Cooking Power Up Pokemon to increase your dish strengths. Sleep EXP will be multiplied by 1.5 times, which means this is a great time to sleep with Pokemon that you want to raise, especially the higher level Pokemon. Because Sleep EXP doesn't consume any Dream Shards, so you want to spend your candies on the low level Pokemon. We'll be getting 50% more candies from Sleep Research, which means doing 1 session a day is actually sensible because it'll return you more candies. These days, after 10 spawns from your 2 sessions in a day, you only get 1 candy per spawn. You're probably overall going to get more candies by doing only 1 session a day with your 100% sleep score, if you're trying to maximize this bonus. However, doing only 1 session a day means overall less spawns as well. And given that this is an event with a lot of new Pokemon, if you're excited about the new Pokemon, you might want to see a lot of them, you might want to catch a lot of them. Doing 2 sessions also makes sense. So you'll have to decide for yourself whether you're after more candies or after more spawns. Just make sure you've got enough drowsy power to cover the required drowsy power in order to encounter those spawns. And for the first week of this event, the 7 days, we'll be getting a dream gift each day. Now, we don't actually have the list of gifts that we can get from Dream Gifts for the second anniversary, but if you're wondering, this is what we got for the first anniversary in terms of Dream Gifts. Last time we had Dream Gifts, we had candies, we had shards, we had ingredient tickets, incenses, some sleep points, and even some diamonds. If last year is anything to go by, the moment the event drops, you can open your dream gift and then click on the opened box to see what else you can get from dream gifts from the rest of the event. Take note though, you will want to log in every day of the first week if you want to collect every single dream gift. There's likely going to be 7 of them, and if we all do the same thing and log in every day, we will all get the same items in the end. But which of the 7 items you get will be random each day until the end when you've collected everything. However, if you don't log in during the first week, then for those days you will miss out on some dream gifts. So there will be some randomness of which dream gift you end up getting if you don't log in all 7 days. Now, there's still more to the first week. In the first week, it will include the actual anniversary day on Sunday, where the developers are giving us extra presents, Plusle and Minun incenses. And with the event missions in the first week, you will also get incenses for Trico, Torchic, and Mudkip. For the second week, you'll get their candies instead in the missions. And once the first week is over, we'll lose all of the bonuses I just talked about, but we get some other bonuses. The first one is that the dishes will be 1.5 times stronger. So once again, bring out your dish making Pokemon, your ingredient specialist, your Tasty Chance, your Cooking Power Up, cook strong dishes, and get more drowsy power. Secondly, mini candy boost is returning, same as usual. If you have a really good Pokemon that you haven't really invested, it's quite low level, it's a good time to use this feature, especially if you're low on candy for that species. I would avoid using this feature for any high level Pokemon. I generally don't use this feature beyond level 40 unless it's an exceptionally rare type of candy, maybe something like Darkrai. I might consider it, but that's assuming you have a good Darkrai to begin with. So look at what Pokemon you've got that's low level and it's worth investing, then use this feature. And then there's a new limited time feature that gives bonuses, some sort of bonuses, of which the developers are a bit cryptic, but thanks to the data miner, RainNX, we actually have a bit of information on it. We believe this is what that feature is about, but we don't actually have a comprehensive idea of what it is. This feature seems to have a code called event HF. Again, we don't know for sure if this is the actual feature, but it's likely related in some way. And also an item called a happy seed. Now, I'm very worried every time the developers use the word seed because it usually involves something expensive, although usually pretty good. And in this event HF, we're going to be seeing flower colors relating to bonus candy or research XP or hungry status, shards, or even some items. The flower colors can be red, blue, yellow, purple, or white. Red, blue, yellow, purple, or white? I see red, blue, yellow, purple, and white in this image. Am I overthinking it? Anyway, that's just speculation. Let me know what you guys think this limited time feature is going to be. And the other new feature is a photo mode feature, which is likely going to be a permanent feature, which will allow us to take photos or maybe screenshots of our Pokemon in ways we've never been able to before. And if like me, you missed it, it was actually in the trailer. We believe that this button is the photo mode feature, which basically allows you to take better pictures of your Pokemon by toggling whether you want certain things to show up on the picture or not. Next, probably the question you've all been asking, which area to go for the event. Now this is tough because we don't really know much about the 5 new Pokemon. We do know Plusle and Minun's skills will be relating to Cooking Power Up and also Ingredient Magnet with some bonus effects. But besides that, we don't even know which specialty any of the 5 new Pokemon are, so it's going to be tough to recommend anything. Although I think there is a good argument for going to Greengrass Isle for this event. I typically recommend against going Greengrass Isle because there's too much dilution. There's too many other Pokemon that can spawn besides the thing that you want that is boosted. But the great thing about Greengrass in the first week is that since we don't really know the stats of the Pokemon, well, you're less likely to be stuck catching something you don't really need for the rest of the first week. I mean, if you happen to not need Trico and Mudkip, but you chose Cyan Beach while we didn't know what they were yet, I think going Greengrass is just a safer option. Not to mention that Greengrass has 5 Pokemon that are boosted in the first week, and they are the 3 Hoenn starters and Plusle and Minun. Since first week is only the base forms that are boosted, all of the other areas, Cyan Beach, Taupe Hollow, and Lapis Lakeside, only have 2 Pokemon that are boosted. Old Gold Power Plant does have 3 because of Plusle and Minun. But with 5 boosted Pokemon, the dilution effect isn't as significant. But whatever you do, just don't go to Snowdrop Tundra because nothing is happening there. Sure, you still get your event bonuses and stuff, but you're not going to get any of the boosted spawns. Unless you want to play the game in hard mode, maybe avoid Snowdrop Tundra, although maybe some of you could make an argument for utilizing that extra hungry on something that you need in Snowdrop Tundra, but my personal recommendation is just avoid Snowdrop, go there another week and catch what you need there another week. Now there is another way you can approach choosing where to go for your first week. Since we don't really know much about these new Pokemon, except their berry typing, you can take a gamble and assume that they'll all be berry specialists. Although I do suspect Plusle and Minun are going to be skill specialists, we don't know. But if we assume everything is going to be berry specialists, at least we know they're berry typing. And I hope you guys read the news because only Trico remains grass typing throughout the evolution, whereas Torchic will actually change from fire to fighting type upon evolution. And Mudkip will change from water to ground type upon evolution. So we're actually dealing with ground, fighting, and grass type berries. Ground and fighting, we could actually use better berry specialists. So there's actually a good argument for why they might release a new berry specialist for those types. But choosing based on that is a gamble since we don't know. I think overall it's just safer to go to green grass for the first week, and once we find out what these 5 new Pokemon are, then on the second week we'll reassess and decide where to go then. In the second week there will be 11 boosted spawns at green grass, 6 boosted spawns at Cyan Beach, Taupe Hollow and Lapis Lakeside, and 5 boosted spawns at Old Gold Power Plant if we include the evolutions. So we are still seeing overall more boosted spawns for the new Pokemon at green grass, so if you want to stay in green grass for week 2, I think that's a reasonable approach as well, although once you find out exactly what you want, if you're after Trico and its evolution, you would choose one of the 3 areas where Trico spawns. If you're after Mudkip, go to either Cyan Beach or Taupe Hollow. If you're after Torchic, then Taupe Hollow or Lapis Lakeside. If you're after +1 Minun and want to narrow down your hunt, then just go to Old Gold Power Plant. Once again, it's a tough recommendation, but I would start with green grass in the first week. Some of you may want to pay attention to the sleep types that the new Pokemon spawn in. Although during this event, they can spawn outside of their usual sleep types, typically by matching the sleep type we do see more of that spawn. So take a look, Trico is dozing, Torchic, Plusle and Minun are snoozing, Mudkip is slumbering. So out of the 5 new Pokemon, in terms of base forms, the unevolved forms, snoozing has the most. If we include the evolutions, slumbering has the most. If you're only after Trico, then dozing is the best sleep type. And we'll just briefly talk about the new skills for Minun and Plusle. They are going to be a special form of Ingredient Magnet and Cooking Power Up. If you already have a really good ingredient coverage, or a really good Ingredient Magnet-S Pokemon, you might not want Plusle, assuming that Plusle is going to be a skill specialist. Of course it might not be. If you've already got your Glaceon, Flareon or Magnezone with very high skill level on Cooking Power Up, you may not need Minun. But the way they work is that if there are multiple species of Plusle and Minun, or rather plus and minus main skill in your team, so in other words you have these 2 together, or maybe even multiple Plusle or multiple Minun, then this skill gets stronger. With Ingredient Magnet S, you'll actually get additional ingredients, but not as an ingredient magnet. You'll actually get additional ingredients based on the first ingredient slot of this Pokemon, which is going to be interesting because if this is actually like the Kanto starter and it's not a skill specialist, it's an ingredient specialist, and you happen to get a mono ingredient for Plusle and it has Ingredient Magnet S, then the mono ingredient actually gets even stronger because of this additional effect. Theoretically, if Plusle is all coffee, mono coffee, and it's ingredient specialist, and then you have a Minun on the team as well, they will mainly focus on farming coffee and in the additional effect give you even more coffee. Anyway, that's still speculation at this point, so we'll just have to wait and see. For Minun, it's a little different. You'll actually heal a random Pokemon on your team instead of expanding your pot more, which I personally thought was a little bit weird. I mean, the whole idea is to have these 2 Pokemon be synergistic to each other. Energy isn't directly synergistic to these skills. I mean, energy is important, but I just thought it was a little bit weird that the additional effect is a little bit different. Do pay attention to the actual numbers at the skill level of those skills. Sometimes, normally Ingredient Magnet S gives you 24 ingredients at level 7. But when it's modified by another skill, that number can change. So just pay attention to what you're actually getting out of these main skills. We may talk about that once we get a bit more information. Lastly, let's look at the befriending bundles coming for the anniversary event. There'll be 4 new bundles, focused on catching the 5 new Pokemon. Here is my usual value analysis. You're looking at about a 30% discount no matter whether you're getting the Trico, Torchic, Mudkip or Plusle and Minun bundle. So my only recommendation is just whichever Pokemon that you actually want to hunt, get that one so you can get the Pokemon incense with it. Or just save your diamonds for something else because we actually do get a few of these incenses throughout the week. What else could you save for? Now I would like to bring up the anniversary prelude event bundles again because I decided to make a little change regarding bundle L. Before main skill seed became available as a diamond purchase, I had to estimate the value using the exchange shops. At first, it was only available in the premium exchange, which was 1800 sleep points, and it converted to about 450 diamonds. Eventually, it became available in the regular exchange as well at 3600 sleep points, which would convert to 900 diamonds. Now, you can actually buy main skill seed for 900 diamonds in the general shop. So from now on, I'm going to value main skill seed as it appears in the general shop for 900 diamonds, which brings bundle L value up a lot more. This is what it looked like when I used 450 diamond to value it. It was only 27% discount. At 900 diamond, it is now a 40% discount, so looking much better. All that this means is that if you have premium shop, you should still be buying your main skill seed from premium shop because it's just good value there, relatively speaking. If you don't have access to the premium shop and you do have 1500 diamonds, buying the main skill seed with the value bundle will actually save you 40% because of all the other items with it. So I've actually recommended Piggy, who's free to play, to get the bundle L with her saved up 1500 diamonds. Thank you for watching, guys. Let me know what you guys think of the anniversary event, and remember, just don't go to Snowdrop Tundra.